Hi, everybody. Welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. If you watched my live yesterday, you saw that I used the new Stampin' Up! Natural Tones Stampin' Blends. That's a mouthful. On my card. And today I thought I would show you. I've seen some gorgeous cards, and I apologize. I don't know the name of the demonstrator who kind of shared them the first time I saw them. But using the blends with the alcohol on vellum to create gorgeous backgrounds. And the colors are just stunning. And I decided I had to give it a try. Hi, Nancy. And so I decided I would show you that today. I haven't played with this before. I'm hoping it will go. I've done this before with other colors, so I'm going to assume that it will all work out. So again, I'm using the Natural Tones blends, some vellum cardstock, and then some what is 99% alcohol. And that is the key to this technique. You need to make sure you have 99% alcohol, because if you don't, there's too much water in the isopropyl alcohol. All right, I'm going to switch over to my desktop and we will get started making this card. All right, so here's the Natural Tones blends, and of course I don't have them in order. They're a little different, as I said yesterday, they come in packages of 2. There are 10 altogether. The difference is that while they come in packages of 2, they're not, I guess, I mean, they're all part of the same set, but I'm trying to get them in order. They go from, that's not it. They go from light to medium light to medium deep, medium deep to deep. So I've got them labeled, just so that I can kind of keep them straight and know that when I go to reorder them, that's what I need. They are numbered, so they do have an SU number on each of them, but that doesn't really help me in telling me what packet they come from if I need to go and reorder them. So I actually just took a little label and labeled each of them from light to medium deep, and deep. We have needed some blends to be able to create gorgeous skin tones, and that's what these are perfect for. But they're also perfect for coloring. Yesterday, I used them to color my adorable bunny from the Easter Friends stamp set, using different tones of the browns. And today I'm going to use them for this alcohol technique. So lots of uses for these. Again, they come 2 to a package, and there are 5 packages total. All right, I'm not going to use well, actually, I'm going to use the light ones. I'm not sure what mixture of colors I'm going to use, but I'm going to use a mixture of all of these colors. So I've gone ahead and cut out some supplies. I guess so. I'm going to use Early Espresso as my card base, and this is cut 5.5 by 8.5, and I will score that in just a minute. I want to get on to the actual coloring. I've got a piece of I'm going to have to trim these down. I've got a piece of soft suede as a layer that is cut 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then for what I'm going to color, you want these pieces to be 3 3/4 by 5. And I'm just going to trim them. So I've got the vellum cardstock again. So I'm going to trim this to be 3 3/4 by 5. If you didn't want the second layer, or the soft suede layer, you could use it 4 inches by 5 1/4. That would be perfect. But because I want that soft suede layer, I've also got a piece of basic white cardstock that is the same size as my vellum cardstock, because we're going to adhere the vellum to that basic white layer. So now I've got, and I've cut 2 because I thought I might do 2 of these. I won't make 2 cards, but I thought I might make 2 of the vellums, because it's kind of fun technique to do. And while you've got everything out, you might as well do it. So my vellum is cut 3 3/4 by 5, and then the basic white piece is also that. So I'm just going to put these off to the side. I've also got baby wipes because I'm a little worried I could get this all over my fingers. So have something handy to wipe your fingers on. I've also got, so what you need is isopropyl alcohol, and it needs to be 99%. Doesn't matter what brand this is, but it needs to be 99%. Otherwise, this technique does not work well. I have put the isopropyl alcohol into one of our water painters. And I've just wrapped some old washi tape around it so that I know in the future that that's what's in here. Sometimes I put alcohol into my water painters and then I lose track of it. So I've got it marked this time around. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn these over. That probably doesn't matter. And I'm going to use the blends to just lay down some color. And I'm going to do a color. So you could do it in, let's do it in lines on this one. So I'm just going to lay down some color with different ones. I'm using the brush end. I'm just fairly randomly picking up color. Let's go back to that deep here. Add some more. So again, just really laying down swatches of color. Back to this one. Okay, let's get some of the lighter ones. This is quite pretty, actually. It's got a pink tone to it. And let's do this one. So this is very light. Not sure how that'll turn out. No, it's, again, doesn't, oops, wrong end. Doesn't really matter what way you do this. I'm just adding color. All right, now let's take the water painter. Ah, yes, that's a good way too. Somebody, I don't know who that is, like made the comment about using dimensionals on the ends and mark them 1 to 10, lightest to darkest. That's a great way to do this too. Now I've got a water painter, so I'm just going to kind of go and start moving this around. Hopefully it's going to work, she says. There we go. So now you can see I had to just get some of the alcohol out. So just squeezing some alcohol out onto it, and I hope you can kind of see that I'm just kind of moving it around, getting some alcohol onto all of the color. So because this is alcohol markers, or these are alcohol markers, the alcohol will make it move, and it really is showing up on the darker ones, if you can see that. Now I've got a lot of alcohol that I probably didn't need quite so much. You can definitely see how much alcohol I've got on here. Hello, Darlene, welcome. Okay, I'm gonna just take one of my baby wipes. And as I said, I'm gonna get this all over my fingers. So because I've got so much alcohol, and actually I'm gonna leave that to dry for just a minute. Let's move on to the other one as that dries. Now, I'm going to do it a little differently. This is the technique that I saw the other demonstrator do. So she used circles. So that one I just did kind of splotches and lines of colors. So she used circles. So let's do that. It looked like roses. It was just stunning on her card when she did this. So let's try that. Now this is the medium, one of the medium colors. I'm going to do more of the darker colors on this one. I found the light ones maybe washed out a little bit. It's all trial and error. There's no wrong way to do this. It's just a bit of trial and error and finding the colors that you think work. When I've done this with the other markers, I've used like Bermuda Bay and Granny Apple Green. Daffodil Delight is really pretty. Magenta Madness works really well. So really just playing around with the colors. Okay, let's add some of this pinky. And I said I wasn't going to do this, but This is really light. So let's just fill in some of the gaps with this. This is one of the lightest ones. Okay, so now I've got circles. And now let's take my water painter and drop some of the alcohol into these circles and let kind of the magic happen. Try not to get quite so much on as I did. You could do a whole sheet of the vellum cardstock with this and then cut it to the sizes you want. Just would be really pretty. Okay, there we go. Got a lot of alcohol in this one too. Okay, all right, so you can see this one is, because this is 99% alcohol, it dries really quickly. This one is almost dry. And I don't know how, it's really pretty. I don't know if you can see. I'm gonna bring in my heat tool and just force it along. Just about drop my iPad on my camera. That wouldn't be good. Okay, let's bring the heat tool in and just give it a helping hand. Try not to drop that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this down with my take your pick tool so that I don't, this one's pretty much dry actually. Doesn't take long at all, but we'll just kind of force it a little bit to dry. Now with this one, I'm going to hold down in the middle. I have got a lot of alcohol in here, and with your heat tool, you can kind of blow it around. And with this one, where I really wanted the circles, probably should have left it to just dry on its own, but I don't actually don't want to leave you watching this until it dries. But you can use the heat tool to actually blow around the alcohol. Now, I don't know, try to get this off, and let's see, I'm just gonna take that because it's wet, so I don't get the alcohol. Can you see how pretty that is? Let's see, I'm gonna put it on behind. Ah, there we go. Natural Tones by Dawn Stamping Thoughts. Okay, I will take a look at that. So can you see how pretty that is? This one's got more of the deep tones in it. I love it when you get these lines where you get the strong color. It looks like a bit of an outline. So that's one. This one's just a little bit different, definitely. Where the dark and then more of the light tones in, but both are pretty. So I'm going to make the card out of this one. So what you want to do is you've got your basic white underneath this, and I am going to use glue dots in the corners of this. Maybe if I can get a glue dot off. There we go. Glue dots in the corners to hold this down. Press it and see it. Okay, and then we'll turn it over and use this. This is going to line, line up in the corners. There we go. And you don't see those glue dots because of the color. Hey, Sarah, welcome. All right, and then I'm going to layer this onto the soft suede. I'll trim this. I didn't get it quite aligned properly, so I'm just going to trim this little bit of white that's showing. There we go. All right. Here's your favorite adhesive. Now, if you put, if I had done something with a peekaboo of petal pink, or not petal pink, gosh. Yes, petal pink actually would have looked really pretty with that. What do I have in petal pink? I have some petal pink ribbon. Let's see what that looks like. Grab my petal pink. This is the petal pink organdy ribbon. And I think, oh gosh, isn't that pretty? Oh, yes, okay. All right, let's bring my excited when things get ideas and they look good. All right, so I'm gonna score this. This piece was the early espresso and it was cut 5.5 by 8.5. So I'm just scoring it at 4 1/4, folding into the mountain or the raised score line, and get my bone folder. And then this, I'm going to tie a bow. This is the organdy striped ribbon in Petal Pink. So let's just get a piece and tie a big bow on the right hand side. Make sure I've got enough to tie that bow. All right, so I think I've told you this before. When you want to tie a bow and you want to make sure your tails are going in a certain direction, I always tie it upside down. So tying it, I want my tails to go to the bottom here. So I'm going to turn this so the bottom now becomes the top. This goes underneath so that my tail is still facing to the bottom. The top tail goes around. Now you may tie your bows differently. Tie around through, and now I have my two tails going to facing the right direction. There's nothing more frustrating, at least for me, than having the tails of a bow facing the wrong direction. And I'm just going to make it just a bit smaller. It's feeling like a little bit big for the card base. Let's try, I'm just trying to hold it so it doesn't, there we go. And because I've tied this around, I can kind of move it so I get it where I want it to be. There we go. That feels a little bit better. And then we'll trim this like that. We have these tails quite so long. Like that. Gosh, that Petal Pink is really pretty. Okay, now I've got a piece of, and I'm gonna have to trim these, but I'm gonna use, this is the Special Moments. It's a celebration stamp set that you can get with a, I think it's in Canada, $120 order. And so there's great, it's 21 stamps on it, all sorts of occasions. And so I'm going to use this one that says, "Thanks for brightening my day." This one. This is a great celebration reward to get. Again, celebration is on until the end of February, so you don't want to miss out. And I've got a piece of our early espresso ink. So I'm going to stamp this. Now I'm going to stamp, I've got a piece that is, what did I cut this? I don't remember. So this is 1 inch by about 3 inches, I think. So I'm going to stamp this over to one end because it's photopolymer. It's easy to see, not too bad. And then I've got a piece of soft suede that I did 1 1/4. So I'm going to, and I did this 1/4 of an inch longer than my basic white. I'm going to push this piece all the way to the left edge, take my paper snips, and I'm going to cut through both pieces at one time. Make my tag ends. I always cut up from the middle and then cut on the diagonal. That way I can at least try to get it sort of in the center. Otherwise I get my tags not in the center. And now as it goes back, because this soft suede piece was cut 1/4 of an inch longer, it fits, and I can get soft suede the right distance all the way around. So just a tip, cut your base piece or that layer piece 1/4 of an inch bigger all round than your basic white or where you've stamped your sentiment, and then cut from, line up on one end, line them aligned on one end and cut, and then you can get a piece that is is the right size all the way around, if that makes any sense at all. Sorry. All right, I have some dimensionals here. Now, when I do dimensionals on a larger piece, this is a larger sentiment, I stagger them so that I don't get a saggy middle in them. It always bothers me when my sentiment kind of flops, because if I put them down the middle, all aligned, it will kind of flop, especially if it is over ribbon. So I always stagger mine. There we go. Now we will, I'm gonna line that up right like that, again with some dimensionals. Again, stagger them so that this doesn't flop over. And we will line up that just like that. Oh, it's really pretty. These natural tone blends are so pretty. Okay, and I'm going to take my multi-purpose glue, get it going the right way. It'll be the first time I put it on backwards or get the opening going the wrong way. Gosh, that pink ribbon just adds and really kind of brings out the lighter blends that I used. Very pretty. Okay, so tips and things to remember when you're doing this technique. Use 99% isopropyl alcohol. Doesn't matter what brand. I just got this at the pharmacy, the local pharmacy, but you might have to ask for it. I did. I don't know why, but I did. They had it behind the counter at the pharmacy. The one that is on the shelf most commonly is 70% isopropyl alcohol, and that one, there's too much water in it, so it doesn't work very well. You don't have to use as much alcohol as I did. You can see my edges have curled, so I'm going to put the second one underneath something to flatten it out. So if you do get alcohol, too much alcohol on it, just leave it to dry. Works probably best if you just leave it to dry, or you can use your heat tool to sop up some of the alcohol, dry up some of the alcohol, but you will get things moving around. So in this one where I tried to use circles, you can see I didn't really end up with circles in the end because I used the heat tool and blew around the alcohol. So if you really want to have it kind of in the shapes you're using, just leave it to sit. Or better yet, don't use as much alcohol as I did, and it won't turn out. But I really like how it turned out, and by using the lighter colors, especially in this one, you do get the different tones and the pink. I would have never thought to use that petal pink ribbon until I saw the pinks that came out in it. So try this technique. If you don't have these natural tone blends, you probably want to put them on your wish list because they're perfect for skin tones and other techniques. And to fill in the gaps, because we haven't had a lot of browns in the Stampin' blends. But you can use any color. Like I said, Bermuda Bay and Granny Apple Green creates stunning cards, and then add some yellows into it. Or Night of Navy and Magenta Madness is really pretty. So try this. It is such a fun thing to do, and create a whole sheet of it. Use an 8.5 by 11 sheet and then cut it down, and you will make some stunning cards. And don't forget to share. If you're on my Facebook group, don't forget to share your cards. I love to see them, and I do a draw at the end of each month from those who've shared projects, and I send you something special in the mail for sharing. I love to see your projects. All right, everybody, I will be back live at 6:30 Pacific on Tuesday night with my sketch challenge every Tuesday night. And then again on Thursday night at 6:30 with a technique. Every other Thursday I come on with a technique, and then the alternate Thursdays I'm on my Facebook group with a mystery challenge. So if you want to be part of that mystery challenge, you can join my group, and you will find in just a few minutes after this goes live, you will find the link to my Facebook group and page and YouTube channel. Well, actually, some of you know the YouTube channel and Instagram, forgetting, and my blog all underneath this video, so you can easily find the links for that. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me. Happy stamping.